In other words, I love you. Don't say baby. Don't shout baby. Don't shout baby. Don't shout. Don't shout baby. Don't shout. Sign says my fire, the one desire, believe when I say I want it that way, but we are two. If I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go. I could take you places you ain't never been before. I'd like to be everything you want. Hey girl, let me talk to you. If I was your boyfriend, never let you go.
Now let's travel back in time to a couple who met in the 1950s.
Okay, I was born in Brooklyn, and I lived there till I was 12 years old. And I had a very happy childhood. I lived in an apartment building that was on the corner of the street, and all the other houses were two-family houses. And we used to go out and we would play on the sidewalks or in the street. Had lots of friends. It was just very friendly and very safe. And I had a very happy childhood. My brother played stickball in the street, and I played stoop ball, which means you took a ball.
And now we're headed to the 1980s.
I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia in a section called Mayfair, which comprised of a lot of row homes. And I was one of three daughters. I am the oldest.
I grew up in Warminster, Pennsylvania. I'm the youngest. I have two older sisters. I went to William Tennant High School.
It was a 3-bedroom house, which was kind of crazy. And anytime somebody wanted to go out anywhere, it was always a fight for the bathroom. Not a whole lot of room in Northeast Philly. I graduated high school in 1982, Abraham Lincoln High School.
Welcome to the 1990s.
Well, I grew up actually only a mile from here in Mount Laurel, and my dad was a pastor of a church, and I have one sister, and we have a very, very tight family. We pretty much did everything together, spent a lot of time outside. It was a really good, happy childhood.
And for me, my childhood growing up was with family. I lived in Marlton all growing up, went to Cherokee, so right from around here. We kind of grew up in the same church here together. My parents were around tons, and we had a close family.
Returning to present time, welcome to the year 2012.
I was a freshman in high school, and I was at the homecoming dance with all my really cool friends. And then I met
That's for sure.
another bunch of really cool people, and he was in that people group.
I was there.
And then you went to Fridays, and I was there. And then you sat next to me, and we chatted it up.
Oh gosh,
Better say a good answer.
she was really sweet. She was a freshman, so
Yeah.
she was kind of,
I was dorky.
don't want to say the word stupid, but she was a freshman. No, but she was really nice.
I didn't start dating too young, and they were okay with it. I had to be Jewish. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That
No,
worked.
because they knew I wouldn't go out with anybody who wasn't. That was just the way it was in those
You were
days.
raised that way.
That's the way it was in those days.
As a boy, it was a little bit different because my parents didn't ask as many questions. Boys back then had a lot more freedom than the girls did to run around and do things.
Growing up, I came from a Christian background. My mom raised us in a Christian church, and she always wanted me to meet a wonderful Christian man. And so I was very involved in our church. John had always come into the house to pick me up. My father was a little tough, and he liked the fact that John could play the piano. So every time he came in for a date, my husband had to go over and play Country Roads by John Denver on the piano for my father, because my dad's a big country fan. So I knew this guy really liked me a lot. The fact that he would come in every time and have to sit at the piano and play a song for my dad before he was allowed to take me out.
Breathing and female. They were happy I was dating. It really wasn't a question of like, you know, who for me, because they knew by the time I met Nancy that I was solid in what I wanted in life and what I believed, and they didn't have any restrictions.
I actually hated the idea of dating when I was in high school, probably mainly because everyone knew who my dad was, and being a pastor, I think that really freaked people out. And so people were really kind of intimidated by my dad, and so I was friends with a lot of guys, but the whole dating thing didn't really go over too well. I definitely had a more strict home as far as that was concerned than pretty much any of my friends.
I think my parents really knew how to set guidelines or restrictions in that area. So I had girlfriends all throughout junior high, high school.
So many.
Like 2. Mainly, they were there to kind of encourage me in one direction or another, but I don't think initially from the start they gave many do's, don'ts, and those types of things.
Sorry, I mean, my parents don't really... I mean, they like her a lot, so they don't really... They let me kind of do whatever.
My parents are really overbearing, and they ask a lot of questions, but he comes in handy because when I don't want to
I'm good at talking to them.
Like tonight, where I almost started crying, but he took over.
I worked it out.
It was okay.
Her mom likes talking to me more than her.
Yeah, I think so. But my parents do ask a lot of questions, like where we're going and what we're doing and everything. And even though it's annoying, I guess we are still young, and I don't know.
But it's not that many restrictions, really. It's like, I think there's more of a... There's definitely a trust there.
So we went out a lot with other fellas also, all my friends, and it was mostly a group type stuff. We didn't really go out on a lot of dates. It was more groups. I mean, and sometimes the boys would pair off with some of the girls, but it was nothing serious. It was just a group thing. And we all had a good time. And
got engaged, let's see.
August 25th.
No, we met on August 25th.
We met on August 25th.
And we got engaged in May, and we got married the following February. So we knew each other a year and a half. We had a very typical Jewish wedding. It wasn't Orthodox, but it was a Jewish ceremony in a synagogue. And
you know, I would come down usually like on a Friday night, and I'd pick her up for dinner, and then we'd be out all night. I don't know, we'd do the typical date things. We'd go out to eat. We still do. We love to eat.
Go out with friends.
We'd go out with friends, we'd see the movies. That's about it.
Well, we liked each other for a while, but we didn't start dating until my junior year of college, so it was like 3 awkward years in between. Like, we worked together one summer, we talked a lot the next year, and then I was at PVU, she was here, so we kind of communicated back and forth, but never really jumped into things until we had a really awkward time at a diner, and a friend kind of like hypothetically asked questions for me about this girl that he liked, that he was really talking. Had a really awkward first date, second and third date. I gave her a high five, and
we went to the movies.
I like this story.
Yeah, that's a good one. We went to the movies one night.
We saw Iron Man.
Iron Man 2.
It sucked.
We saw it, there was like 6 people in the movie theater, and then we walked out, stood there for about 20 minutes looking at each other.
Really, not really. We were like
weird.
looking at our phones.
Really weird. I was waiting to leave, and then I was like, pop the question.
I'm like, Ryan, pick me up. And then you come over, and you come in my house. But you always text me saying that you're here.
Yeah, do that.
And then you take like 5 minutes to walk up the steps.
That's because I'm like,
I don't understand
preparing
why.
myself.
It's not that hard.
No, I prepare myself.
You should be
ring
running,
the doorbell.
You should be running to my doorstep.
Yep.
That's how excited I was.
Nah, that's not how it goes. Doorbell, her mom answers. Hello.
Hello, Ryan.
I say hi to her dog. He's a real champ. talk to her mom for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, she didn't show.
She's still getting ready, so I just chill there. Finally, she's ready, and then we go out. Pens, we'll get
like
ice cream. We'll hit up Friendlies.
So we've been married 48 years. We have two children, 2 beautiful grandchildren, and we've had, knock wood, a very happy life. Yeah. And we hope to have
And it still is.
many more years of happiness. We've had our ups and downs over the years, like people always have. But
What downs are we talking
and
about?
just normal ups and downs, little illnesses here and there. But other than that, work very hard to accomplish what we have, and to take care of our family, and to take care of each other, and we love each other.
Where we're living and the potential for our kids' future seems really bright. I teach high school at Morristown Township. I feel like I teach in one of the top schools in South Jersey. Lenape being another top school, but I think Morristown's pretty good. I got laid off when you were pregnant with Johnny.
Yeah.
I didn't have a job, so that was kind of a scary time, but it all worked out.
Here's our main accomplishment. I think finances will always be like a little bit of a struggle for us. I think it's just life with young married couples in ministry.
Well, when we got married, I graduated college, started a full-time job here at church, became a pastor, and got married, moved out of my parents' house. So it was just like a big transition all at once, stages of life, all those types of things. Then we found out we were pregnant a year later.
On our 1-year anniversary.
We thought, well, life is going to change forever, and it has, and we never ever want to go back.
Our relationship is very good because we really have a strong understanding of each other, and we know what is needed in order to keep a healthy lifestyle. But I would just like to say that it's always his fault.
It's not.
And that's about it.
Like if we argue, it'll be that stupid stuff.
It's usually me being over emotional. I'll admit it, and then you mad that I'm overdoing it.
She just overreacts about little things. Like, oh, I don't want to be at this restaurant, and then I'm like, why not? And she gets mad. Oh, I don't want this type of ice cream. Well, you're gonna eat it anyway, just because.
When you get married, the key word is compromise. You can't expect to have everything one way, your way. You have to learn that the other person is important, and you have to compromise. You have to
May
work.
not agree with you
Right,
on
you
everything.
have to work to make the other person happy, because that's part of a good, healthy relationship.
Well, that's the key to it. Make each other very happy and have respect for other people.
Respect, yeah.
Respect for each other's opinions.
Wake up every morning saying, I want to be married.
That was one of the pieces of advice our pastor gave us, and that's one thing that stuck with both of us, that you got to choose to be married every day. You don't just say I do and that's the end of it. Every day it's a commitment to your partner. And I think it sounds negative to say, but marriage is work. You do have to work on it. You have to make sure that the relationship, it's like a flame that you got to keep adding stuff to keep it alive and make it work. And it's not hard work, it's very easy work. She's my best friend. But you do have to choose to be married and say, what can I do to help her? And she does the same thing for me.
I'd say probably the number one thing for me that's been helpful for us is always resolving conflict immediately and talking about things right away, so that there's never a chance for bitterness to build up, or one person thinking one thing and just being on such different pages, but you don't know if you don't talk.
If we didn't have a relationship with the Lord working and changing each one of us, we'd be a disaster in marriage. And so as He's changing me and changing you, He's also changing us together, which has in turn allowed us to handle you.
Main thing, probably a sense of humor between us. That and just like
having a good time, and not taking things too seriously.
It's more like yeah, it's a relationship, but it's more about being friends more than anything.
Yeah, you're my best friend.
I think that's probably just
say
like.
Say it back.
What?
Say that I'm your best friend.
You're my best friend.
Aww.
You got it. And then the rest is history.